Bang. Week 6 is over. What a week. All around the league, some surprises, some scores that were like kind of jaw-dropping each way. None other than, we're just going to get right into scores, what happened this week. No score was more surprising than the Selma Trash Pandas putting up 406 and a half. Tyler Hansen was furious last week. He got in group chats. I saw him multiple times say how upset he was. You hate to see that. Hopefully his bounce back helps him buy back into his team. His team is fully loaded and ready to compete right now. They made that very clear. He even left points on the board, which is scary. With Luca's crazy triple-double he had the other night. Could have had more there. He got a 55.5-point win over the Moscow Muskrats. Now, the Moscow Muskrats did not have a bad week. They scored 361. Most weeks, that does really well. Just not this one. There were a lot of teams that put up some crazy scores. Just kind of a bad matchup for Moscow. I do think they're going to start to bounce back. I think this Moscow team is ready. I think they're a better ball club than their record indicates right now. Prestige Worldwide. Wow, Swish Kebab's in another close one. You're starting to wonder what the direction of the Swish Kebabs is, right? So they had the practice incident last week with LeBron James calling out owner Jacob Carmichael, and he played him. He still played LeBron, did not discipline him. It's not a good sign, man, when your team's already calling you out. They lose a 15.5-point game to Prestige, 361.5 to 346. Good win for Prestige. They got it going back the other direction now. They're obviously a great team. They're one I'm very high on in the power rankings. It seems like week after week, I do think they have the team that could win it. They could win the whole league. Albuquerque DEA, 372. Very average week for Albuquerque, which is scary. It's scary for the rest of the league, right? It's not a hidden fact that Albuquerque is very talented. They have a starting 5 of all-NBA players. That's scary. They got a 49-point win over the Brazilian Tree Frogs, led by myself. I was pleased with my team this week. 323. For most guys, that's kind of on the very average end of the spectrum. But for my guys, that was a great week. That's a week where we showed that we have the capabilities to kind of run with people. I left points on the board, but I was chasing. I knew I would have to put up a really good final day score with 2 spots left. So I kind of chased there, tried to play Josh Giddey in case, kindergartner crush was in the crowd and he just went out and got a triple-double for me, but he did not. I kind of had a really bad game. So, yeah, 49-point loss. Didn't expect much more, though. We scored a lot of points. I'm very pleased with it. Calvertsville Flamers, 396.5. This is another one that was jaw-dropping. Calvertsville, another team that was not pleased. They were mad. They were wanting to sell everything. They even took offers on Wembanyama last week. And they come out against their biggest rival, and they put all that to the side. And they forget it for a second and remember why they're a Flamer, right? Why they became Flamers. 52.5-point win over the undefeated International Pussycats. Pussycats still put up 344. I said losing LaMelo Ball might hinder them a little bit, might make their score go down. It didn't really make their score go down that much. 344, good week for the Pussycats. They ran into a buzzsaw in Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson had his revenge game against the LA Clippers, and he popped off for Calvertsville there. Last matchup of the week. This one was a blowout. The Cuckolders won 349 to 216 over Saskatchewan Blue Beavers. That is a 133-point win. If I know Nick Poe, I know he's not happy. I know he's pretty upset with the direction his team is going. I know he's open to making changes to improve this. This is not what the Blue Beavers will stand for. I expect them to bounce back. I do. I expect them to start to play better basketball. I expect them to make moves that put this team in a position to score the most points possible. If I know anything about Nick Poe, he loves fantasy. He loves fantasy basketball. He loves fantasy football. He's gonna do whatever it takes, man. He's gonna do whatever it takes. They're gonna claw their way to some wins throughout the year that kind of surprise people. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, that's our weekly recap, matchups wise. Now let's get into team of the week. Team of the week brought to you by Allstate. Point guard of the week, Ice Trae Young, 65.5 points at San Antonio for the Cowardsville Flamers. This was an unbelievable game for Trae Young. I mean, he just kept scoring. Like, just when you thought he might slow down, he didn't. He just kept going. So, definitely something to look at. Trae Young's turned it on, and Cowardsville needs him, and Cowardsville is going to be better with him doing that. So, Donovan Mitchell, shooting guard of the week, 54.5 versus Atlanta for the Moscow Muskrats. Another great week for Donovan Mitchell. Moscow needs him. Moscow needs him week after week to put up with this type of performance. I was kind of calling out shooting guard position the last couple of weeks. Has been a pretty mediocre score. Donovan Mitchell answered that. So good week for him there. Kevin Durant, 48 versus Denver for Prestige Worldwide is our small forward of the week. This is another low score. I'm surprised. I figured every position would always be consistently over 50. But yeah, I mean, good game for Kevin Durant. Prestige Worldwide needed it just when they needed it the most, actually. He came out and delivered. The International Pussycats got a 53-point performance out of Anthony Davis, the Brow, at Detroit. AD took on Detroit. They've got young bigs, and AD just went to work. That was a game where it was D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis show. That's all that was, and it was very much that. Nikola Jokic, oh shocker, gets it again. 63 points versus Houston for the Cuckolders is our center of the week. This is gonna happen every week. I think the only other centers that have a chance are Embiid, Sabonis, and if my guy Alperen Şengün goes out and drops a triple-double, which he's kind of coming close to lately, I think they have a shot. It's going to take a bad week from Jokic. Embiid's probably the only other one that I'll ever have to write in the center position, if I'm being honest. But, yeah. I forgot. I had to recap the betting board last week. I had 2 picks, right? I always have the upset of the week and the lock of the week, presented to you by State Farm. Stop knocking on wood. Upset of the week, Cowardsville Flamers plus 350 money line, cashed again. Cowardsville is printing me money. Shout out to Wyatt Mack, man, because if he keeps winning like this as an underdog on the weeks that he's an underdog, I'm just going to keep betting him because he's turning up. Lock of the week, Albuquerque DEA minus 44.5, cashed again. I knew they were going to beat us. They won by 49. It came kind of close. If Josh Giddey has an average game, I probably cover. So the books knew what they were doing on that one. Power rankings. This is everybody's favorite segment. This is where the trash talk happens. This is where people's feelings get hurt. People's pride gets boosted. This is it, man. This is what makes boys become men here, is the power rankings. So let's get into it. Number 1, Albuquerque DEA. No shocker here. Big win this week. Don't really need to touch on it too much. They're very talented top to bottom. It's just not... I mean, they're tough. They're going to be tough to beat for anybody. Number 2, Prestige Worldwide. Back into the number 2 spot. Good to see AJ back up here. He's 5-1. Great close win this week. Team's good, man. Team's really good. Number 3, the Cuckolders. They're back. They're back up into the top 3. I'm big on Isaac's team. I think Isaac's team is way better than they've performed. They've had a tough schedule to this point. It's starting to lighten up for them a little bit, and they're taking advantage of it. Number 4, the Selma. Tyler Hansen is a crybaby. Trash Pandas. This performance was unbelievable. It shows Selma can beat anyone in this league. So Tyler keeps managing the way he did this week. This team's going to be so hard to beat. loaded top to bottom. Luka Doncic has dad strength now, which is scary. That's big. That's big. Number 5, the 5-1 International Pussycats. They're 5-1. Why are they number 5? Yada, yada, yada. They lost their best player. Their schedule hasn't been the toughest to this point. And that's about to change. So 5-1 International Pussycats come in at number 5. Number 6, the Moscow Muskrats. Like I said, good performance and a loss. That speaks more than a bad performance and a win to me in terms of power rankings and where teams are. So I put them at number 6. Number 7, good to see this, the Calvertsville Flamers. They've climbed a few spots. They're getting into, they're like 2 or 3 spots away from like playoff potential here. This is huge for Calvertsville. They turned it around, man. Like, the beginning of the year, you thought Calvertsville was going to be one of those teams that you kind of had an easy win, and they're just not it. They're just not it. Wyatt's a good manager. They've got a chance every week. Swish Kebabs come in at number 8. Carmichael, you got to figure it out, man. I'm calling you out right now. You have to figure out when to lock in people. You have to figure out when to play people. You need to be on top of this. As an owner in this league, you need to take pride in this, okay? As this league continues to grow and new people want to get into it because they hear how great it is, right? You've got to be somebody who stays on top of it and stays engaged in the league, right? Because if I'm looking to replace somebody, guess what? It's going to be the guy that forgets to put Drew Holiday in or Malcolm Brogdon in. You got to do this stuff. You just have to. Come in at number 8. I know your team's good enough to make the playoffs. Do it. Start winning games. I'm calling you out. Number 9. It's a miracle. We have climbed out of the depths of the 10 spot. The Brazilian Tree Frogs, 1-5. We got a win 2 weeks ago. We got a loss this week and climbed 1 spot. But guess what? My team is consistently above 300 now. We have chances to win every single week. This is what I thought it being a Tree Frog would be like. And we get Morant. We get back, Jawbreaker. When he's back, man. Point guard position. 40, 45 every week, probably we're looking at. Like, he's gonna boost our team so much. We need Ja back. But I'm excited for the future of the Tree Frogs. Draft picks on draft picks. OKC Thunder kind of is what we are. I'm excited to see that. Number 10, Saskatchewan Blue Beavers. Nick, like I said a little bit ago, I know your team's you're good at fantasy sports. Your team's gonna figure it out. You're gonna climb out of that 10 spot. I'll probably climb right back in it next week. But as of now, 219 performance last week. That was rough. I did move you into the 10. Betting board this week presented by State Farm. Like I said, stop knocking on wood. Don't knock on wood. It's not worth it. Get with State Farm. Get your insurance. Let's get into it. Calvertsville, 3-3, -150 favorites, -14.5 on the spread against the Brazilian Tree Frogs, who are 1-5, +130 underdogs, +14.5 on the spread. Calvertsville comes in as a favorite for once. Wyatt has just kept winning as underdogs, so the books have adjusted. They are not underdogs anymore. Swish Kebabs, 2-4, come in at -500 favorites over Saskatchewan, who comes in at +400. The spread is 32.5 points. The bookies predict kind of Swish Kebabs turning around here this week. They get their stars going. And Saskatchewan continues to kind of search for their identity. They'll find it, but they're going to continue to search this week according to the bookies. Prove them wrong. Never know. Cuckolders at 3-3 come in at -300 favorites, -22.5 on the spread against the Moscow Muskrats. 2-4, +250, +22.5 on the spread. Moscow comes in as the dog. 22.5 point dogs. Moscow is tough. They're not fake. Like, they're not a pushover. The Cuckolders are great. They've got Nikola Jokic. He's unbelievable. You're looking at 60 every week out of him. You got to hope the rest of them don't go off. International Pussycats 5-1 come in as the underdogs this week, 20.5-point underdogs, plus 200 on the money line against Albuquerque DEA, who is also 5-1, minus 250, minus 20.5 on the spread. Bookies predict an Albuquerque romp here. They predict the two 5-1 teams to go at it, but Albuquerque just asserts their dominance as the real 5-1 team here. We'll see what happens. You never know. Matchup of the week. Selma Trash Pandas, who turned it around last week, ready to just dig it out of the mud here. Take on Prestige Worldwide, 5-1. I've got this game at a pick'em, minus 110, minus 110. And I have the spread at plus 2.5 to the Selma Trash Pandas, minus 2.5 to Prestige Worldwide. So I've got this game being a 2-point game. I think this game's going to be close. I think this game is going to come down to the wire again. I think it's going to come down to the final games of the week, and someone's going to barely edge out the other one. So that's our matchup of the week. All right, let's get into the ending segment here. Lock of the week and upset of the week. Upset of the week has to be a plus money line, and lock of the week has to be a spread that you lock in. Lock of the week, I'm going right back to Albuquerque, minus 20.5 against the International Pussycats. I think they dominate. No offense to the pussies. Yeah. And underdog of the week that I'm locking in. Upset of the week, the Moscow Muskrats, plus 250 on the money line against the Cuckolders. This is not to say I don't believe in the Cuckolders. This is to say that in terms of value on the board, with underdogs, since we actually have a matchup where there's not an underdog, right? You're looking at not much in terms of underdogs. I was going to go with my team. I tell you what, I'm going to change that. Never done this before. Changing my mind. Going from Moscow Muskrats. I believe in the Tree Frogs. Tree Frogs get it done this week. They take on the Calversville Flamers. They come out, they punch them in the mouth, and Calversville just never recovers. That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. Thank you all for tuning in again. I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm for the league, everybody's willingness to just engage in the group chat and keep it interesting. Yeah, I appreciate it very much. You guys are awesome. You guys continue to make this league go. Catch you all next week. Hopefully some teams bounce back, and hopefully the good ones keep rolling. Catch y'all later. Peace.